Joe Lieberman is going to make a stand. He's on Face the Nation. Bob Sheever's also going to talk to Senator Nelson in this clip. He's another one of the conservative Democrats that's holding out. You get a sense of where Joe stands on this. Let's watch.
Bob, as I was saying, there's a good basic bill in here, and the parts of it can be supported by 60 senators, including some Republicans. But we've got to stop adding to the bill. We've got to start subtracting some controversial things. I think the only way to get this done before Christmas is to bring in some Republicans who are open-minded on this, like Olympia Snow. I'll tell you...
Well, what do you have to do that?
You got to take out the Medicare buy-in. You got to forget about the public option. You probably have to take out the Class Act, which is a whole new entitlement program that will, in future years, put us further in the deficit. And you got to adopt some of the cost containment provisions that'll strengthen cost containment that all of us favor.
Liar.
If you did that, you'd have an enormous accomplishment. 30 million Americans who can't afford insurance today would get it. Insurance companies would be more aggressively regulated and costs would be bent down. So it's time to get reasonable.
Well, what about that, Senator?
Well, I think every piece of landmark legislation has had bipartisan support. In many cases, 2/3 or more of the Senate voting for that legislation. That's one of the things that is missing right now. It's not easy to reach across the aisle under the circumstances we find ourselves, highly politicized, very partisan.
Why do you think it's a bad idea to add this buy-in to Medicare, to let younger people buy into this program, Senator Nelson?
Well, first of all, we don't know what the numbers are yet, Bob, and so that's a
you don't know what it's going to cost.
We don't know what it's going to cost. The second thing is I'm concerned that it's the forerunner of single payer, the ultimate single payer plan, maybe even more directly than the public option.
Bob, is that...
All right, yeah, I got you, helmet head. Okay, he wants 2/3. So we got to go get... 60 is not enough for Ben Nelson. Remember, these guys are all Democrats. Democrats, theoretically. He's saying, no, you got to go get more Republicans to sign on. Well, what's the cost of Republicans signing on? Lieberman did your laundry list. Take out every piece of reform in the bill. Take out Medicare buy-in, take out a public option, even take out the Class Act. And when you take all that stuff, he's going to have a list of 3 other things to take out. Because all he wants to do is, and this is super ironic, because then he talked about cost containment, and he's a goddamn liar. He doesn't want cost containment at all, okay? The only thing he wants to do is add 30 million Americans paid for by the United States government, subsidized by taxpayers, onto private insurance dole, okay, onto their payroll, okay? So he wants to take those guys and say, you have to buy private insurance, and the American taxpayer will subsidize it. So in the end, there is no cost containment, the premiums skyrocket, and his buddies get rich off of it. I am doing everything I can with every fiber of my body not to call him a sea-sucker, okay? Every time he speaks, no, you've got to be done with him, man. Done with him. There's no negotiation with Joe. Imagine if I was leading the Senate. I'd be like, look, Joe, here's the situation. Oh, you want me to take out Medicare buy, and you want me to take all that out. And at the end of that, you give me another list, right? Okay, you're done here. You're done, okay? So you move over to the Republican side. No, shut the fuck up and move on, okay? Move on. Go to the Republican side. I never want to see you again. I don't ever want your vote again. I will go to every Republican. I go to John Cornyn. I'll go to Orrin Hatch. I'll go to whoever I need to go to and not ever come to you. Your chairmanship. Chairmanship? You're talking about under Democratic rule, you're going to have a chairmanship? Get the fuck out of here. Okay? Joe Lieberman. No, you're done, son. You don't get to have a voice in anything anymore. Okay, you don't get to raise any money with Obama. You don't get to raise any money with Democrats. You don't get to call yourself a Democrat. I don't care what you call yourself. The Democratic Party is going to have a press conference where we are going to announce that you are the worst of all Republicans, okay? That you are public enemy number 1, and that we will spend every nickel we have to defeat you in your next election because you are the worst politician in the country. Now, that's what I would do if I was Senate leader or if I was the president. And then they tell me, no, the president can't do anything. Why? Is he impotent? Does he not have a nutsack? Why can't the president do anything? Can you imagine if they walk into Lyndon Johnson while he's trying to do Medicare and Medicaid, and they say, oh, no, Mr. President, you can't do anything. You have to just bow your head to any senator that comes by and says, I'm going to stop this bill. What do you think Lyndon Johnson would have done with you? You think he would have, like Obama, he'd have been like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, I'm sorry. Of course, there's nothing I can do. The problem isn't that Obama's a coward. Let's keep it real, okay? The problem isn't that he doesn't think he can do anything. He's the goddamn president. Of course he can do something. The problem is he doesn't want to do anything with Wall Street reform and with healthcare reform. He has made deals with these companies, and he has no intention of breaking those deals. He has an intention of delivering for them in a massive way so that they fill up the coffers of him and his party so he can get reelected in 2012, and they can keep getting reelected, they think, as best as they can in 2010 and 2012. If this continues, we don't really have a progressive party in the country. Now, we have progressives within the Democratic Party, but Barack Obama ain't one of them.